and she's going to enlighten us on the topic of dealing and overcoming pride. Over to you, Taruni Radha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for giving me a chance to speak about the anartha called pride, understanding what it is, and let's try to see how we can overcome by seeing the great examples in both Srimad Bhagavatam and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Amagyanatimirandasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshur Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhaktarinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Are you able to see? Are you able to see and you?
Yeah.
Are you sharing? No, we're not seeing anything.
No, I'm not sharing. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, then that's good. That's good enough. Okay, so starting with what's pride. So basically, it just goes back to the topic that I had spoken like maybe 3 weeks back, approximately, about envy. Pride and envy are like the two sides of the same coin. So I think something's changing here. I'm not sure what's going on. Radhika, just got changed. Can you see this? Okay. Yeah, I fixed it. Thank you. Yeah. So pride and envy are the two sides of the same coin. So to understand again what's pride, we can see from the scriptures that pride means that we are trying to project ourselves beyond our level of capacity. Whatever we are trying to portray something which is beyond that. So it's basically we are showing, we are giving a sense of superiority. We want to project that to the outside world. So this is termed as pride. And then these two terms, trying to conceal what we really are and trying to project something which we are not. So this also is pride. So this, by doing this kind of having this kind of a mentality, we can understand that this just drives us towards what's called being very hypocritical, or we're not being authentic. We're just trying to paint the picture that which we're really not. So when we are having this tendency of having pride, what happens is every living entity who's born here is deluded into delusion, not understanding what is the reality. So basically, when the living entity is here in this material world, they are bound by the six enemies: lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, illusion. Right? They just tightly bind the living entity. And where the person or the living entity, the Baddha Jiva, the Nitya Baddha Jiva, they think that they are the creators. Whatever they are doing, they are the creators. And as such, they are the controllers of it. And then eventually they are the enjoyers. So Srila Prabhupada in one of the purport says that if a person or a living entity has got this tendency to enjoy, thinking that he's the controller, and then he's the, because he is created, he's the controller of everything. That means that person has a demoniac mentality. A devotee should understand that they belong to Krishna and they're the servant of Krishna. When this kind of a real identity or the understanding is lost, right? That's when this pride steps in. And pride, as soon as pride enters, there will be a fall down of the person. So Prabhupada says one should be free. One should be first and foremost free from the delusion called pride. Trying to think that they are the master and the enjoyer of this entire world. With this kind of mentality, when they come, they cannot surrender to Krishna. When you cannot surrender to Krishna and become a devotee, then definitely life is very miserable. And then they continue to exist undergoing through all the different material anxieties and troubles in this world. And that's what keeps happening. And then there's pride also, right? there's something called false pride and there's something called true pride. So false pride a person can feel because of many uh, any good qualities. Like example, there are like two sources of pride. One is like when we discussed about Tattva Brahma, right? In that we were discussing how Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, he says they're like the five causes of anarthas. One was like the doing pious activities of piety. This also brings in, some kind of anarthas. Likewise, even for pride, when the person has done some piety or pious activities in the past, the person will be availed with a lot of say wealth, beauty, knowledge, and strength, power. These kind of opulences can be just bestowed upon the person just because they've done some pious activities, right? But then if the person has got an impure heart, so the fruits of these pieties along with the impure heart can result in pride. This is an equation of pride, and this is what my Guru Maharaj is always Rampada Swami Maharaj says, that a heart which is filled with impurity and the fruits of piety that a person gets, this will result in pride. That's one of the first causes. And the second cause is when the person does a lot of devotional service. Even they become a devotee, they're doing a lot of devotional service, and then because of which there is lava, puja, pratishta. That means there is people are like worshipping, but people are like there is a lot of benefits, and also there is adoration which is being given. There's a lot of respect, prestige. All these things come, and then if the devotee is like careless, if the devotee just gets into enjoying these kind of puja, pratishta, and labha, right? Then that also can cause pride. So this particular stage, and the six stages of anartha and everything, and the stages we spoke about, the last one was Taranga Tarangini. That means a person is like going up and down and enjoying the waves, the small waves of success in devotional service that the person is doing. They're enjoying those small successes. But then it's very sad because, again, it's just going to make the, if it's going to result in pride, what is the use of that devotional service? Of course, any small, what do you say, the activities that we have done in devotional service, Krishna will never forget. But then ultimately, once the pride comes in and the person falls down, right, then everything is lost in the sense like for a long time. Or sometimes Srila Prabhupada says in one lecture, if a person falls down practicing devotional service, that means a fall down means there is a gap of millions of years again to come to the stage and then pick up devotional service and then continue in this human form of life. It's very, very difficult. There's a gap of millions of years, is what Srila Prabhupada says. So one should be very cautious to not fall down by understanding what is pride and how it really affects devotees. And we can also see these are the two causes of like how pride comes in. And then one of the other things is like in Bhakti Aloka of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Maharaj. He explains that every person has got certain adhikar. Based on their adhikar, they have to like, what do you say, follow certain prescriptions and certain restrictions. They have to be away from that, and then they should follow what is prescribed for their level. So if a person is at this level and then they try to act beyond their level, then obviously there's a degradation, right? They'll fall down. They cannot sustain it, and it's not correct. So basically, the person is showing that they're very puffed up and they're showing the superiority, kind of an attitude, projecting to everybody. So this is pride again. So pride, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Maharaj says that this again is going to make the person to come down. They will not be able to. This pride will blind the person. They cannot see the greatness of other devotees. And so some seniors, they genuinely are like having wonderful qualities and they're genuinely, equipped with very, very good, great qualities. But then a person who's blinded by pride, they do not have the correct vision because there's so much in and of themselves. That means they think they're so great. And then whenever that mentality that I am great comes, that is demonic mentality according to Krishna in chapter 16. Only demons think that they are great and they're so superior. This much wealth I have today, this much I will gain again, and these are my enemies. I'm going to eliminate them. I'm going to perform these strategies, become more strong. You can think about like Hiranyakashipu, how much pride he was taking, trying to eliminate all the demons, and then about him, his own self, the kind of conception, the kind of image he had about himself. It's just these are demoniac people. They might be pious. He was a great worshipper of Lord Shiva. Yet, look at this. Look at the, look at the way he was treating Prahlad. Look at the way he was treating the demigods. He had made them practically slaves. Indra was sitting and cutting vegetables in his kitchen. This is the way a demoniac personality infected with pride is going to behave. And ultimately, there was degradation of Hiranyakashipu, right? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says one should understand these are the problems, and then with the help of self-introspection and also senior devotees, understand that this is my sad state, and based on that, try to beg forgiveness, and then act upon the instructions which is received in a very humble service mode. If they can, if a devotee can continue to maintain this humble mode of service, then they will be protected. If that is given up every moment, it should be like we should be very careful, because devotional service is like it's very powerful, but then it's like a moment to moment of surrender, moment to moment of submissiveness to the guru, to the parampara. If this is not done right, then we can fall down. There are two cases we can see, like Bharat Maharaj, Jada Bharat, how he was so much cautious of the material energy. So he was cautious. And then we can also see Prahlad, how he was always thinking and thinking about Lord Narayan, Lord Vishnu. So he was Krishna, he was thinking about Krishna, and here Jada Bharat was trying to keep away from Maya. And then both of them were like, so conscious. Moment to moment, they were like very much, very sure. They knew their goal, and then they were protecting it from all the vicious things by being so alert. So if a devotee is not alert, a devotee is not hankering to like, go higher, if a devotee is not able to see within, right? So there are two things. One is we discussed about envy last time, and then there's pride, right? So envy, we were telling about, like, do not compare yourself. Be satisfied um with what you have. So basically, have a grateful heart. Look inward, not outward. So this is kind of a way to protect yourself from envy, when we are feeling grateful inside instead of seeing others outwards, right? And then in pride is like, don't think too much about yourself. Look up at Krishna. So when you look upwards towards Krishna, what happens? We'll understand our very insignificant position, right? By understanding our insignificant position as compared to the Supreme Lord, right? Then we will be humble, in that humble mood, we will try to surrender to Him. We will beg Him for help. We will beg Him for anything that we will be completely dependent on Guru and Krishna. So in this way, we can continue to have a humble mood. So the antidote of pride is humility. So when we understand that, pride is when we are looking inside and thinking too great. Look up at Krishna, how insignificant we are. Any moment we can die. And then everything that we have, all these opulences, Janmaishwarya, Shruta, Shri, everything can be taken away from us. It's just it's just moments, people we've seen around us, how everything is lost. So when we realize the temporality of these material opulences that we have, then what can we take pride in? Srila Prabhupada says, don't take pride in, borrowed plumes. That means, somebody else's feathers, you just stick it, and then you think that, oh my God, they belong to me, and look at me. Well, that's not even yours to begin with, right? So something which is borrowed, which has been bestowed as a mercy upon you by Krishna and Guru, why should you take pleasure in it? When we come to devotional service, there are a lot of things which is given to us. We learn certain skills, or some things which we acquire, or some things which are given, god-given gifts. But then again, this can also be taken away. It's just, that's the way it works. That's why don't have false pride. So we're talking about false pride, means we are taking pride in something which is temporary. So if there's something called false pride, there must also be something called true pride. So we can see in Maharaj Parikshit's case, he mentions in the Bhagavatam that he felt very proud that he belonged to such a great lineage of wonderful devotees. And in that purport, Srila Prabhupada says, yes, this is, the correct pride, as opposed to false pride, wherein you're feeling very puffed up on temporal things and thinking that you're the controller, and then you want to lord over the material world, which is incorrect. That's not the way to go. That's what Srila Prabhupada says. And then we can also see the case of Belva Mangal Thakur, how he tells to Krishna, and then this is like pride and static love for Krishna. He says to Krishna, "Oh Krishna, you can do anything to me, but do you have the capacity to, come away, get free from my heart and, go away. Because at this particular time, Bilvamangal Thakur, he's like given up everything. He has given up his eyes, which were the source of, so much of problems, because he had some lusty desires. So he said, my eyes are the cause of my lusty desires. He just blinds himself, and then he eventually lands up in Shivandavan Dham. And then there in Shivandavan Dham, Krishna comes, and then he's like, he's helping Bilamangal Thakur. And at that point, Bilamangal Thakur realizes it's my Krishna. And then Krishna has to go, and then he's like, my mother is calling me, I need to leave. At that time, these are the words that Bilamangal Thakur says, that you can do it, you can leave me and go, but you can never leave my heart and go, Krishna. So this is pride that the devotee is feeling, but then in what? It's ecstatic pride, ecstatic pride and ecstatic love for Krishna is what Nectar of Devotion speaks about Bilamangal Thakur. So this is real pride, that we belong to Krishna. We are devotees of Krishna. So in that we can take pride, but not in the other things like all these material, opulences and strength, wealth, knowledge. These are very, very temporary. So once we understand it, it'll help us. And very interestingly, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur in his Prabandhavali, he explains so beautifully that envy is just opposite. Envy, when a person has envy, then prema can never sprout in the person's heart. When there is envy, there will definitely be false pride. When there is false pride, there will be definitely envy coming in. And then he explains, then so beautifully and graphically, he explains that example, like if a small plant is growing, right? There's the seed that is put, and then there is the roots, and then the small shoot, right? So likewise, in this Bhaktivinoda Thakur Maharaj says, if that seed, if there's a false conception of our swarup, that means we do not understand that we are the soul, we are the eternal servant of Krishna. When we don't understand that, with that misconception idea that we have, that seed of I am this body, if that is planted, then the small shoot which is going to come up is called lust. And then when this lusty tree or the small shoot of lust grows up, it becomes a tree. And that lusty tree will signify the kind of envy that person will have. So basically, that lusty sprout will become a big envious tree, is what he's trying to say. So basically, that seed of false conception, which will give you small lust, lusty desires, like Sangat Sanjayate Kama in the Bhagavad Gita is explained very nicely. That means a person wants something, there's a desire, they lust for certain things, there's attachment to a particular thing, and then there's a lusty desire, I want to enjoy it, and then you cannot enjoy it, then there's anger, and then from anger comes a delusion. Dvandva Mohina Bharatam is delusion. And then comes moha, that is bewilderment of memory. And when that happens, what happens? Then the intelligence will again fall down. The person will lose his ability to decipher and to make decisions of what's right and what's wrong. And then definitely the person will fall down towards envy. This is what very nicely is explained in the Gita, right? So basically, the whole thing starts with lust, and then it degrades to so many different vicious things: lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and then envy. So envy is the last. Envy cannot be used in any of Krishna's service. And just before envy comes madness or this pride, this mother, because I have all these opulences. So in that mother, we have everything else. We have lust, we have anger, we have greed, illusion. All of this is present in pride. And all of this again present in your last envy. So that's why when there is envy, we can never have prema for God. We can never have, prema for Lord Krishna. This is how wonderfully Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining. So we have to give this up. We need to understand how it's happening. And then he also says all these 6 things which are binding the jiva, it's because of the 5 transformations. Basically, the person is ignoring Krishna. They're completely in ignorance. They do not know Krishna. Once you're completely ignoring Krishna, you forget him, right? And then after you forgetting him, what happens? You're just self-absorbed. All your thoughts are about yourself. It's self-absorption. And then the self, that means you're thinking, I'm these senses, right? These are my eyes, my thing, my hand, my legs, my mouth, and I need to enjoy this, etc. So then in that self-absorptionness, then we'll be attached to all the things. You're completely attached to many, many things. And then comes again jealousy, and then slowly degrades to envy, right? So this is the point where that attachment to things comes, right? We are trying to stop at that stage. Hey, there is attachment, sangat, sanjayate kama. Let's stop at that. But before that, try to understand. Just go 2, 3 steps there, before that. Self-absorption. So why can't we have the correct absorption? And that why should we forget Krishna? That's why all our injunctions in the Shastra says, do not forget Krishna and always remember Krishna. Srila Rupa Goswami says, why? Because if you do not forget Krishna, right, then obviously you become self-obsessed. You will not, start getting attached to things of this world. When you get attached to things, then you'll get pride. And then from pride, you'll look at the other person and you'll feel envious. So basically, our Shastras, our Guru, our Parampara is saying, never forget Krishna. Why? Because if that our attention is on Krishna, we'll not be thinking about things in this material world, which will cause both envy as well as pride. This is so beautifully explained by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Maharaj. Then let's go down into our Srimad Bhagavatam at this stage. Srimad Bhagavatam very nicely it explains how in the beginning, Maharaj Parikshit Maharaj Parikshit, he's like cursed to them. He's a Mahabhagavad devotee of Krishna, right? And then Shringi, a small Brahmana boy, he calls him a crow. He calls him he uses such harsh language. He uses anger and then he curses. Such a great Mahabhagavad personality called Parikshit. And then this is where the whole degradation of Brahmana society and culture starts from Shringi. Why? Because he was so proud of his Brahmanical, culture. He was so proud of his powers, of his mantras. So basically, because of that, he could not see the greatness of Maharaj Parikshit. He was just blinded. He could not see. This is what pride does. When we are proud, it's impossible for us to have the correct Shastra Chakshushu. It's impossible. That's why it's called madness, mada. Tumba, in Kannada, we usually say like, my mother used to say this word, mada many times. And so I never understood what is the meaning until when I was doing this research, I realized mada is like madness, real madness. Person is mad because, and then other people who are not mad, they have the correct vision. They can understand that this person is mad, but the person who's mad, it's impossible for them to understand. Shingi could never understand. He was just justifying that, I did this because this is what he did. But he never understood it was just Krishna's plan. Of course, it was Krishna's Leela. But then everything started happening when a small boy, Shingi, because of his Brahmanical power, being proud of it, he just curses Maharaj Parikshit. Then again, later on, we see Shiva. Shiva is telling Parvati to not go to her father Daksha's yagna, right? And then he says, yeah. And then she says, he's my father. He has such great qualities, my dear husband, Shiva. Please let me go. He's my father. I don't need any invitation to come. And Shiva says, no, he has a lot of pride. He is very envious towards me. He's very proud of himself. Daksha was very much upset to give his wife Sati to Shiva. He was thinking that Shiva is like always with ghosts and goblins and the crematorium, and look at the way he's dressed, and then he's just seeing only the faults in Lord Shiva. He's not able to see what is what. Why? Because again, he's so much intoxicated with the pride that I'm a Prajapati and then I'm so great, and look at the way I'm dressed and look at how Shiva is. So this way, they are so much self-obsessed, they're not able to act properly. And then what happens? Parvati goes, and then sorry, Sati goes, and then he just disrespects even his own favorite young daughter. She's the youngest, and then he just disrespects her. Doesn't give oblations to Lord Shiva, says a lot of bad things. And then Virabhada's expansion of Shiva comes and destroys Daksha. So again, we can see how Daksha got degraded because of the false pride. Then we can see how Kapila Dev, right? Kapila Dev says in third canto, when he's talking about the universal form, person should actually meditate on the Sudarshan chakra in the Lord's hand. The Sudarshan chakra has got thousands of spikes. It'll cut away all the darkness, and it gives light also. It cuts away all the darkness of false pride, illusion, and envy which is present in the hearts of the devotees. So this is the way to cut it down. Again, by hearing all these scriptures, what happens, like we know that these devotees who had all these great opulences, what happened? They're just like, they're falling down and they met their degradation. So this will keep us aware and aware of how we should not act, right? The scriptures will also tell us like how we should surrender, how we need to take shelter of Krishna. So this is how scriptures protect us. So this, this is one of the ways to overcome pride is also hearing scriptures. But again, we should be very aware that knowledge, again, by reading scriptures, you may think that, oh, now I'm so knowledgeable, but then as soon as that kind of a thought comes, there is also pride, right? This knowledge, you might think, oh, wealth can just go away, health can go away, sometimes good birth can be good, they can be, a person is born as a famous son, sometimes they just stick out, they're not just doing anything. So like that, so many things can be taken away, but knowledge will always happen. How can knowledge just go away? Nobody can take away what I have, whatever I have acquired as knowledge, will always remain. But then, just one accident, people can just forget everything. They can just have dementia in their old age. They just forget who they are. They can't even remember their name. So there's no point in taking pride and knowledge. Again, Prabhupada says in one of them, because even if there's a faint glimmer of understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we're able to understand because of His mercy. We need to have patience and we need to approach Guru and the Parampara, hear the devotees, or on how we need to proceed further so that we get full revelation. So these are the words of Prabhupada. So even if there is a little knowledge that we're understanding, we should not be proud, but then we should have patience and then continue. The greatness of Krishna is just is astounding. Whatever we are reading, it's like an ocean. It keeps on searching. It just continues. Like Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu when Bhakti Goswami wrote, right? Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. He says it's just like a drop in this ocean of Bhakti. Bhakti is so vast. So there's no way you can think that we know everything. Right? Never happen. And again, we can see Dhritarashtra in the first canto. Dhritarashtra is he's so much he's lost everything, but yet he's so much attached, so much proud to be like still that king. He's still there in Hastinapur, and then Vidura comes with the mercy of a pure devotee called Vidura. He comes and then he tells him, "You have lost everything. All your sons are gone, and then a late is coming. You're not able to hear. You're blind. Now you're acting deaf. How many times I'm instructing you, but you're not even moving out of the situation. You're not moving. You're not taking the next steps. Just this kind of a pride is not going to help you. Just move out. I mean, become aware that um, being attached and then just being proud that I'm a king and still hanging on to the position. It's not gonna help. And that's when the fashion, makes it move to, move towards the Himalayas. And then he just gonna why? Because the mercy of his dear brother Vidura. Then we see Ajamala. Ajamala also, he was very he was a nice Brahmana boy, he was well trained, and then just the seeing the lusty, he just gets completely bewildered. So knowledge did not help him at that stage. So this is something which we need to understand. Knowledge cannot help us. It is again we say dependent on the mercy of the Lord. And if we are taking pride in our knowledge, it will not. It's not going to suffice. It doesn't suffice. And then this we can very easily see. He was trying to control his senses with that knowledge. But it was not helping Ajamala. And then he does get it. And then he leaves his wife and then he's with the prostitute and then the whole life goes on. But then again, some of the devotees will come and then they will knock on the door of this person, the wife, and then they'll ask, please can you give me something? She says, oh no, please go, I can't give anything. I don't give anything. And then that time they'll say, at least you can do one thing for us. Name your that child, that youngest child, please name him Narayana. Just because of that one thing. He says, okay, fine, I will call the youngest child Narayana. And then just by the mercy of those devotees, passing sadhus, he started chanting Narayana's name. And then in the end, because of the chanting, because of the Abha's chanting, he gets delivered. So we can see the pride that he had and that knowledge didn't help. And then he did fall down again. Devotees came, and that's how Ajamala was helped. You can see in the case of Prithu Maharaj and Indra, right? Indra is he's in Swarga, he's the king of the heavens. Yet, when Prithu Maharaj was an incarnation of Krishna, He is performing his 100th horse sacrifice. Indra comes, and then in disguise of the sages and the different things, he just wants to steal the horse. And it just shows that he is so much, he did not want to, he was so much proud that nobody else should come. I have done 100 Ashwamedha Yagnas. Nobody else should be able to do it. This is the kind of attitude Indra had. But again, and then the same thing, the same attitude goes towards when Brahaspati, his guru, comes, right? He is so much intoxicated. All the people around him are glorifying him, and then he's enjoying that heavenly, kingdom, and then he's just everybody's glorifying him. Somebody's glorifying him. He's intoxicated with that pride. He doesn't respect his guru. Comes in, he never, doesn't even, what do you say, notice him. He's sitting on the Airavata elephant. He doesn't come down. He doesn't fall pay obeisances to his guru. And then the guru gives him a garland, and then he just, Ayurveda just takes it away and then eats it. And then he doesn't even respond. The guru Brahaspati gets very upset, and then he walks away. So we can see again pride and because of the pride, there's so much of intoxication that Indra had. It did not help him. And he also falls down. He lose everything to Hiranyakashipu in the end, and then again, there is degradation. So in the Bhagavad Gita, there is this verse, Dambo Darpo Abhimanascha. That means there is pride, and then there is Dambo, that means pride. Pride means there is so much of what do you say? Good qualities are not there, but then you are trying to show off. So they're trying to show that there is, you're very superior. That is Damba. Darpa means there is arrogance. So there is some good qualities, and then you're so proud of these good qualities. So pride is you don't have and you're trying to show off. Arrogance is you have some good qualities, and then because of that you're proud. So that's arrogance. And then Abhimanascha, that means you're hankering. You're hankering for people to give respect to you. So all these things are different shades of pride. And then again, this also, it's not going to help us. So just by understanding, we can just gauge ourselves, am I trying to show something which I'm not? Or do I have something and I'm very proud of that? Or am I just hankering for respect? Everybody to, whatever, give respect in different ways, whatever ways you want something. So you can just look inside and think, where are we? Do we have Damba, Dabba, Vimana? And then these are all qualities of demonic nature, right? And then from this comes anger. If something doesn't come, all these things are not given, then there is anger, there is harshness, there's ignorance, all qualities of demonic nature, right? So this has to be given up. Then we can also see there is Karpachan Rishi in the 11th canto. He's talking to Maharaj Numi, and then he says there are like many causes because of which pride can enter a person's heart. There's wealth, again, we discussed some of them, wealth, birth, there is knowledge, beauty, strength, power, austerities, even renunciation. All of these eight qualities or things can make a person feel very proud. Some quick examples. Okay, so we can see Nalakuvera and Manigreva. They were the sons of Kuvera. They had Shiva as their friend, and they were just enjoying the heavenly dance and intoxicated with drinking liquor. That when Narada Muni comes, right, they are so shameless. I mean, they were like so shameless, so intoxicated, and they're like, why is Narada Muni coming here? And then Narada Muni, out of his causeless mercy, he curses them. So a pure devotee is always thinking about the welfare of the fallen conditioned souls. Because of that curse, we actually get to see Krishna, the Supreme Lord, which it's very difficult for when a person who's doing meditation for thousands of years to even have. So this kind of um, situation was happening because of the mercy of Narada Muni. Then we see Arjuna. Arjuna, what happens is like he has so much of pride that he has so much of strength and so much of power. And then when Krishna actually leaves the world, right, he is not able to protect the wives of Krishna in Dwaraka. Then some small cowherd boys, right, he'll just get defeated by them. And then he'll say, it's my same Gandiva boy, it's my same child, it's my same arrows that I have. It's the same me. And then I have defeated everybody in Hastinapur. I'm such a great warrior. And then everything is gone. And Krishna takes away, when he left, all my power, everything went. So this just humbles Arjuna. You realize that, I don't have, I don't have to take so much of pride in my skin. It was all Krishna's. Krishna had given to me. Same with Indra. Indra thinks during the Govardhan puja, right? That yes, it's everything. Everybody has to worship me, and then Krishna just, breaks his pride, and then he says to all the Brajvasis, "Let's just worship Govardhan. He gives everything to us." And then Indra showers lots of rain, and then we have the whole beautiful Govardhan Leela. Krishna lifts the entire Govardhan with his little pinky finger and then protects all the Vajvasis, right? And then this just, breaks Indra's pride completely. And then he realizes, all my power comes from Krishna. It's not just by myself. So he also had so much of power, pride in his wealth and his great position. And it was just taken away by Krishna. Romash Sutta. He thinks that, he has a lot of knowledge. And then because of which, when when Balram comes in, he doesn't even get up and even, worship him. Doesn't give any respect to Lord Balaram. And then what happens? He's again destroyed. So just and then on the contrary, we see like Rupa Goswami, when the Digvijay Pandit he comes into Sri Vrindavan Dham, he'll say that Rupa Goswami says, "Oh, you just want me to sign the Vijay Patrika saying that I'm defeated by you. I will just sign and give it to you because I'm not interested to fight and then I'm not interested. You are great." And then he just signed. So even though he has so much of knowledge, he's not interested to show off in defeat. This is a sign of greatness, sign of real devotees. Then we can also see Durvas Muni. Durvas Muni is also like thinking, oh, Ramharshan Sudha thought a lot about his knowledge, that I'm so great, right? Then we have Durvas Muni. He thinks that I have so much of great renunciation. Because of my renunciation, I'm so great. Look at this Amrish Maharaj. He's such a attached householder. He's a what do you say? He's a great king, but then he's an attached householder. But then what happens? He runs all around the universe. And then because Sudarshan Chakra is like following him, he doesn't understand. He's not able to see the greatness of Lord Maharaj Amrish. And then Vishnu says, "No, I'm not completely under the control of my pure devotees. I stay in their heart. I'm completely under their control. If he forgives, then only my special chakra can come back to me." So this is the way the Lord reciprocates with pure devotees. Then again, we can see some of the beautiful examples of Chaitanya Charitamrita, of how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he comes right in front of the Radha Kund, right? There's a nice shloka which says, "Chaitanya Charitra Suno Shraddha Vishwas Kare." That means with a lot of faith and devotion, hear Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yeah. Then Matsarya Chariye. That means give away this Matsarya. The Mukhe Bole Hari Hari. That means with your mouth chant Hari Hari, giving up this Matsarya, learning Chaitanya Charitamrita with a lot of faith and devotion. And by doing this, right, we can give up envy, we can give up pride, right? Because pride comes with envy. They're like the two sides of the same coin. So in this Chaitanya Charitamrita, three more examples, and then we can wrap up. Chaitanya Prabhu is right in front of Radhakat, and then in front of Jagannath, he's saying, I'm not a Vaishya, I'm not a Shudra, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Brahmana, I'm not any of these Varnas or Ashramas, right? But I am just a servant of the master of the Gopi, the maintainer of the Gopis. This is my position. Gopi, Bharatiya Pad, Gopi, Bharatiya, Gopi, Pada, Gopi, Bharatiya Pada, Dasadasana Das. And the servant of all, the Supreme Lord, who maintains the lives of the gopis. This is my true identity. This is what he reveals in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this Mahaprabhu, he enacts these beautiful pastimes with his own intimate associates to show and glorify their true nature of how they do not have these great sincere devotees. They do not have envy. They do not have pride. So what happens is Rupa Goswami, the second time he comes, he meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Puri, and then he's staying with Haridas Thakur, right? And at that time, Swarup Damodar Goswami, what happened? Swarup Damodar, who's always a constant associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he knows the heart and mood of Mahaprabhu. So every time Mahaprabhu is in an ecstasy, he always chants the words to enhance the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This word Swarup Damodar always does. So he was very intimately connected with him. Swarup Damodar and Krishna Lila is Lalita Sakhi. So because Mahaprabhu is come and Radha Bhav, right? So he understands it. The closest associate of Radharani is Lalita. So she understands, and then Swarup Damodar is always chanting these verses to enhance Mahaprabhu's mood. And then when Rupa Goswami comes, and then in front of this Rataka, Mahaprabhu is saying that, oh, here is the same boy who's attracted my heart. You get the same moonlit nights, and then it's the same smell of the wonderful multi flowers and the same breeze from the Kadamba trees. But then I just want to go back to those, I just won't go back under those trees. I don't want to be here. So when he says that, right, Rupa Goswami the next day, he'll compose a verse and then in a family, and then he'll keep it on top of his attached hut. He'll be living with Haridas Thakur. Mahaprabhu every day he'll go to Darshan of Jagannath, and then he'll get the Mahaprasad to meet both of them and give intimate association to both Rupa Goswami and Haridas Thakur. And then he'll pick up this verse that Rupa Goswami would have composed, and then he'll read it. So Rupa Goswami is telling the mood of Radharani, telling to her Satis in Kurukshetra. I'm the same Radha, he's the same Krishna, but I don't want to be here, and I want to go back to Shivandavandam near the fifth note of his flute. And then Mahaprabhu is like stunned. He's like, how did you write this so beautifully? And then he goes through this to Swarup Damodar. And then Swarup Damodar doesn't say like, oh, look at this new person. He's just come. This is my exclusive service to compose verses and then, enhance Mahaprabhu's mood. Who's this new person who's come and then, doing this service, taking away? He never thinks that way. He is very, he's just so joyous, and he'll say, oh Mahaprabhu, you must have given his full mercy to Rupa Goswami. That's the only way how you could understand your mind, your heart. And Mahaprabhu says, yes, at Prayag when I met him, I gave him my full mercy. I gave my full mercy to Rupa Goswami. So this is the way Swarup Damodar Goswami behaves. And then Mahaprabhu is so happy. Then we see again those 4 months of the rainy season. Rupa Goswami is again there with Haridas Thakur, and then he would have written one more verse, and then Mahaprabhu is like reading it. Whenever I hear these two, I don't know how much of nectar is present in these two syllables, Krishna. Whenever it enters my mouth, I just wish I have millions of mouths. Whenever it enters my ears, I wish there's millions of ears. And then whenever it enters the courtyard of my heart, my mind is like my mind becomes really quiet and my senses are inert. So when he reads this verse aloud and Haridas Thakur is over there, Thakur starts dancing. He's so much happy and so joyous. And then, he's not thinking that I am Haridas. I am, 36 years elder than Mahaprabhu. I am the person who initiated Maya Devi herself. I made this prostitute as a great Mahavaishnavi. I got beaten up at 22 marketplaces, but I never gave up chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. Who is this person who's written this verse? And this is giving so much of joy to Shriman Mahaprabhu. He never says that. He's so happy. He's so happy. And he's like, wow, this is so beautiful. You have given your mercy to him. This is what Haridas Thakur says to Narada Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is so happy to just see the mood of this pure devotees. There's no envy, no pride. And then we see again Damananda Rai and Swarup Damodar. These are also two very intimate associates of Mahaprabhu in Puri. And then Mahaprabhu is like wanting to examine his mood. This is what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes. He wants to examine the moods, and then he just glorifies Rupa Goswami as though he had like 5 mouths. And then these two associates are like, they're not thinking again, he's a newcomer, what is this? They're like, oh Mahaprabhu, you must have given your mercy to him. That's how he's able to compose, understand your mood, your heart. And they're so happy. They're so happy. Why? Because they are not feeling envious. Their relationship with the Lord they're very secure in that relationship. And as such, they're not even, they're not feeling proud or that I am this and he is this. They're very happy. They're very happy. And Mahaprabhu feels extremely satisfied that all these devotees are there together to serve Krishna, and then they're very joyous in each other's company. So this pleases Mahaprabhu very much. And then to just end all of this and then just wrap it up. Srila Prabhupada, in one of his purports in the first canto, he says the definition of a sincere devotee. And then a sincere devotee, Srila Prabhupada says that there are 4 characteristics. The first characteristic is on the day of his initiation, a sincere devotee, he very much takes up to the process of hearing and chanting very seriously. And then he also preaches that hearing and chanting of the holy name, the pastimes of the Lord, and he also preaches that to others. Second quality is he does not have any material desires because he is fixed up that he wants to go back to Godhead. That is a desire of a sincere devotee. Third characteristic is he's not feeling very envious of all the people over here. Why? Because his goal is fixed up that he wants to go back to Godhead, right? So why will he be worried about all the people around you? So he's not envious of people over here. At the same time, he doesn't feel proud that he's going back to the Lord. So just imagine, see, he's not feeling envious yet, and he's not feeling proud that he's going back. This third characteristic of a sincere devotee. And the fourth characteristic is he takes up the process of preaching whatever he knows up to according to his capacity. He preaches the glories of the holy name, the pastimes, everything. He preaches to the people. That is the business that this person, the sincere devotee, takes up. So these are the four qualities. So this is the way a sincere devotee is. So we all want to be a sincere devotee of Krishna, right? So these are the qualities that we need to work on according to what Srila Prabhupada very nicely mentions in the purport of the first canto, in the beginning, first few chapters, in the sixth chapter. This is the purport. So how beautiful he says, give up pride and give up envy. So by just doing that, right, and we are focused inward, like how in the beginning I was telling, we need to have our focus inward and upward. For pride to giving up pride, we need to not just look at ourselves and be so much puffed up, having the superiority complex, trying to conceal our real, whatever, how much ever we know. We don't have to conceal that. We can just say, be authentic, be ourselves. Ultimately, Krishna knows everything. Who are we trying to fool? Right? People around us, or just whatever, little bit of labha, puja, pratishta. Why? Krishna knows everything about us in our heart. He knows us better than what we know ourselves, both Guru and Krishna. So we don't have to project something else. We can just be authentic. We can be humble and then think that how we can better ourselves and please Krishna. That should be the goal. Purity is the force. Ultimately, we see this in Sri Rangam Kshetra, right? How beautifully that Brahmana boy, that Brahmana, he was just reading the Bhagavad Gita because his guru had instructed. He was so submissive to his guru. He did not even know. He was not illiterate. And yet he was like turning the pages and tears were coming from his eyes. And Mahaprabhu was like, why are you crying? And then he'll understand that he's genuinely asking and he's not mocking at him like how the other Brahmanas in Sri Rangasheta were doing. And then he'll say, listen, my guru has given, I'm illiterate, but because he's given, I'm just following the instruction. Then why are you crying? Mahaprabhu asks. And then he says, oh, whenever I see Krishna on this chariot, he's a supreme lord, and then he's behaving, taking such a humble position. It just touches my heart. It just churns my heart, and then I get tears. And then Mahaprabhu says, you are the correct person who's able to understand the mood and heart of this Bhagavad Gita. So basically, like in the chapter 7, right? It's not, one is jnana and one is vijnana. Jnana is just materialistic the knowledge about the opulences of Krishna, both spiritual and material. Vijnana is realized knowledge of the sweetness and attributes of Krishna. So this Brahmana was able to understand that, that sweetness of Krishna, he being a person, how he's dealing with his devotee. So this everybody doesn't have. It's very rare to find a person who has both jnana and vijnana, and this Brahmana had, and it just pleased the Lord. A person who is very humble and meek, the doors of heaven, the doors of heaven are open for him. That's what the Bible says. Basically, same thing, a person who is humble and meek, for them, they can easily go back to Krishna. They can easily attain love of God, like how Bhaktivinoda Thakur Maharaj is saying. When a person gives up envy, then only prema can sprout in their heart. As long as envy is there, they cannot even appreciate Srimad Bhagavatam. The second verse itself says, Matsarya, we should give it up. When that envy is given up, then obviously pride is also given up. This is the way to actually maintain all these good qualities which we have, whatever has been restored by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. They themselves can become our enemy, right? All good qualities can be degraded if they are the source of this pride and envy. So we should not feel like that. Rather, we should just have a grateful heart and then look up to Krishna, accept who we really are in relation to Him, reach out to Him, pray with a humble heart so that we can try our best to keep pleasing Him with whatever gifts that He has given us. So with this, I'd like to end. Thank you so much for giving me a chance to do a deep dive in pride and purify my own heart. Really appreciate your support and attendance today. Thank you again. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments, or anything we can discuss right now?
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for such a wonderful class.
Mataji, ask Mataji.
Thank you. I don't have questions. I don't have class. Thank you.
No questions, Mataji? Questions, corrections, anything? Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Mega Mataji, any questions, corrections, thoughts, anything which touched your heart that you'd like to share?
Nothing as such, Mataji. I was listening, and very nice class. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, devotees. So if you don't have any questions, thank you so much for staying back. It's already 9:30. I don't know what's the time there. With those of you who are in India, still you've stayed back and given your precious time. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Wish you all a very wonderful Krishna conscious day. And those of you who are over here, Krishna conscious night. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji.